All right, guys, welcome back to lesson three. By now, you guys should know what options are, what the ETFs are. Really, you guys are just going to need to get your trading platform, which would be TradingView, and then sign up with a broker, whether it's Robinhood, whether it is Thinkorswim, which is what I personally use, or Webull. They're all great brokers you could use. That's going to be where you place your trades at, basically, right? And that's where you're going to go into the application, look for your strike price, because an option is basically you think that it's going to get to this price by this specific date. So this is where you're going to choose your contracts, right? Now, in the money, at the money, and out the money is what we're going to cover today. And this is going to help you choose your contracts, like which contracts should you be using, right? And all of it has to do with time. In this lesson and in the next few lessons, you guys are going to hear me say, you guys are going to hear me talk about time a lot because with options, time is involved in these contracts. So we're going to cover the easiest one first. It's called out of the money. Before I cover out of the money, I want to cover a vocabulary term called ATR. It stands for average true range. Now, how are you guys going to find average true range? Is basically go to Finviz and you're going to type in, you can type in literally any name. You can type in SPY. And as you scroll down, it'll be right here where it says ATR. Let's just say ATR and like in parentheses 14. SPY's ATR is about $10.39. So what that means is that on average, SPY can make a $10 move within a day, right? Over the past 14 days, SPY has been moving like $10 on average, right? It changes depending on the market volatility. Right now, we're very volatile, so usually it'll be like $6 for SPY, but right now it's a little bit higher, right? So why is that even important? Why should we keep that in mind? Because when you're choosing a strike price, in this example of at the time of recording, SPY was at 396, right? SPY was at 396. If I think it's going up to 397, can it get there in one day? Yes, right? Because we saw that the ATR was $10, right? So it could definitely get to 397 in one day because it moves about $10. It's moving like $10 on average at the current moment. What if I think it's going up to 400? Now that's about $4 away. Can it make a $4 move in one day? Technically, yeah, it could still, but now the further out you go, like what if I go and try to buy a 410 call, a 415 call? See, now that's very far away from where we are currently at. Currently, we're at 396. And so the further away you think it's going to go to, it is called out of the money. Now, when would I choose out of the money? I also want you guys to notice how the contract prices get cheaper and cheaper the further out you go. You see how these are going to be the contract prices. You always want to look at the asking price. That's how much the contract is. So 0.30 is $30. 0.47 is $47. And so the further out you go, the cheaper it is. It's because there's a less likely chance of it getting there. And so therefore, if I were to trade out of the money contracts, I want to make sure that I have enough time for it to get there, right? I'm not gonna go and buy a 410 call that expires today, that expires tomorrow. Because the further out you go, you wanna have time to make sure it gets there, right? If you're like scalping and you're just trying to catch a quick move, I probably wouldn't go out of the money. I would go in the money or at the money, which we're gonna talk about right after we're covering out the money. So the most important thing that has to do with this is time. If I have time, then I feel a little bit more comfortable buying a 400 call. Anything that's like $2 or $3 more further away from where the price is at would be considered out of the money. Okay, the further out you go, the cheaper they get. Now it depends if you're buying time though, right? You always want to, if you are gonna go and buy like a 410 call, 415 call, you should have time on your side because how long could it potentially take for it to get to 415? If right now we're at 396 and SPY moves about $10 in a day, it could take some time. Now it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna move the whole $10 in that direction. Not every day is like that, you know? So for me, if I'm gonna choose out of the money, I have to have time on my side. That's one of the most important things you want to understand here. When it comes to at the money or in the money, this is totally fine to trade. Maybe if you don't have a lot of time, right? When you don't have a lot of time, contracts will be cheaper. The more time you buy, the more expensive contracts are because you're paying for time. These contracts are made up of time. That there's also a term called zero DTE, 0 days to expiration. Some of the riskiest options contracts that you can trade as a newer trader, I would stay far away as possible from these. Like if I could go back in time and tell myself, I would tell myself, don't touch 0 days to expiration. Because basically what you're playing with fire, you're playing with time running out on you. Basically, let's say today is June 25th, and let's say the market just opened, and you think right now, let's say it's at 396, and you think that it's going to 399, 400. By the end of the day, you chose a contract that expired on June 25th. You bought it today and you're expecting it to get there by today. But the closer it gets to expiring, the less the contract will be worth. So it'll expire worthless if it doesn't really get to that area and you ran out of time. So think of it like that, right? Time is always working against you. You guys will understand it more when I talk about the Greeks, like theta, delta, and gamma. And so therefore, as an options trader, the safest thing to do is just buy time. Give yourself time for you to actually get to 400. If you wanted to get to 400, maybe instead of buying a June 25th, buy like 2 weeks out, maybe buy like a July 14th or something, July 10th. That way I feel safer like that it actually I could give myself time for it to get there. But 400 would be out of the money. So when you have a little bit of time, it's not the worst to trade contracts that are zero DTs, but maybe to be feel safer by like 1 days or 2 days, which is still a little bit of time. These are not contracts you really want to hold too long. And so when I am trading one DTE, two DTE, or even a zero DTE, I will go at the money or in the money. Basically, um, the strike price, which is where you think it's going to, that is at or very near the current price of the stock. So what are we at right now? We're at 396. What is a strike price to the upside that is very near to the current price of stock? Probably the next one over, right? The 397. That would be at the money. And so therefore, if I have a little bit of time, think about it. If I only have a day, I would choose a 397 because that's only like $1 away. Can SPY go from 396 to 397 in a day? Definitely. We saw that it's making $10 moves at the moment, right? So it can definitely your chances are higher of it getting from here to here, from 396 to 397, than your chances are from getting to 396 to like 405 or something, right? If you only have a day, if you have 0 days. Can it do it? Yes. At the moment, the volatility is higher. So yes, it can do that, but sometimes it's not always that high. So you have to keep that in mind. So in that case, if you have a little bit of time, add the money is fine. Okay. Next one's gonna be in the money. In the money, this is where people get confused a lot of the time. In the money is basically uh, anything. You see how all these are highlighted in blue? All this is highlighted in blue. Basically, any number that we have already passed, right? Any number that we have already passed. So notice how they're more expensive too. The 393 calls like 546. We're currently at 397. So let's take a look at this price. That's the price we're currently at on the stock. Let's just say 398 to keep it simple. We already passed 391, 392, 393, 94, 95, 96, 97. Right? We already passed all of those numbers. So therefore, those contracts are in the money. They're highlighted in blue. We've already passed them. You see how all these are not highlighted in blue? It's because we haven't passed them yet. We haven't been to 402 just yet. Let's say we do choose a 402 call. And what happens if it does get to 402? That is one of the best things that could happen to you as an options trader when you're out of the money ends up going in the money. So all of these at one point were out of the money until it passed it. So 399, 400, 400 is out of the money. But if we go and pass 400, it'll eventually join all of these that are highlighted in blue. And so therefore, the contracts will increase in value because you were correct, right? Right now they're 71, but if it goes in the money, then it'll probably be worth more now, right? And so that's what your whole goal as an options trader to, make to be in the money, to be correct, right? Um, and so why would I even choose in the money? Like if I'm scalping, I could still trade the 398 call, even though we're exactly at 398. And this is probably where a lot of people are gonna get confused. So I'll slow it down. 398 call, like why would you choose a 398 call if you're already at 398? Basically, a lot of people trade in the money when they don't have a lot of time, when they have a day, 2 days, 0 days, especially. Because these will hold their value a lot more. It's the closest to where the stock is at. It's pretty much where the stock price is at. So you don't really need it to get anywhere. You just needed to stay above and go up from 398, right? Same thing if I was on the put side, right? You just needed to stay under. So you still make money uh, off of it staying above that price and going up, right? It doesn't necessarily, the other ones were making money when it as it heads towards that strike price, right? Same thing with this one. As long as it heads in that direction, you could choose this. And so they just hold their value a little bit better against time, right? Because it's closest to that. So this part can confuse a bit of people. If you guys have any questions, just drop it in the comments. I'll try to explain it one more time to kind of simple it down. Compare the times, right? Out of the money is further away. So I'm not gonna buy a contract that expires today thinking it's gonna get to 415 by the end of the day. No, if I'm gonna trade a 415 call, that's far away. So I gotta give myself like 2, 3 weeks or more for it to get there, right? If I think it's going to like 399 by the end of the day or like in the next few minutes, then I'll go add the money. That's like it's only $1 away. I don't gotta buy a month out. Because remember, the more time you buy, the more expensive the contracts will be. And that's why people trade 0 DTs and 1 DT because they're so cheap. Because you're not paying for much time, but then the less time you have, the more risk you're taking on. And so therefore, um, that is why that is the difference between out the money, in the money, at the money, and in what scenarios would you choose out the money versus in the money, at the money, at the money. They're good for scalps. If you don't have a lot of time, you get in, you get out, you don't got to worry about time burning you. So in our next lesson, that is where we're going to start talking about all of the options Greeks. We're going to cover it all in one lesson. And then we're going to start getting into trends, some technical analysis. I did say I was going to drop my course for free, and I got to keep my word on that. So I know it's taking some time to drop the videos, but I am going to drop it for free. But thank you guys for watching and understanding and being patient. And I hope you guys understood. Drop any comments, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.